Welcome to Wrexham, Issa Kaboré, a position that I didn't expect to see a strengthen in given our options currently down that right hand side, but today we have confirmed the deadline day signing of Manchester City right wing back Issa Kaboré on a season-long loan. With no obligation to buy, it's a straight season-long loan. The Manchester City right back comes into Wrexham following a whole host of experience all across Europe, which we're going to be talking about into today's video. And like I said, a signing I didn't expect to see happen, especially of a player like Issa Kaboré's profile, given our options currently down that right hand side in Ryan Barnett and Ryan Longman. But it's a good problem to have. We're further strengthening in every position across the pitch, and this looks like to be a really promising signing. Today we're going to be looking at Kaboré's career today, what he's like as a player, and most importantly why he's going to take Wrexham's team currently from here to here, and why Wrexham have made a late swoop for the right wing back. If you're looking for the best Wrexham content, it's coming your way on YouTube. I say it every video. If you look down there and see you haven't clicked the red subscribe button, please consider doing so. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. Any subscriptions are massively appreciated. Make sure to turn the notification bell on as well so you're notified every time a video comes onto the channel. It'll pop up in your notification box. And let's go for 500 likes for the signing of Kaboré. And without further ado, let's get looking at about his career today. Issa Kaboré did actually spend the first 8 years of his playing career playing in his home country of Burkina Faso for Wrexham AFC, where a number of really eye-catching performances earned him a move over to Belgium for KV Mechelen. In 2019 he obviously signed for the Belgian side. It only took him a year to obviously catch the eye of Manchester City in July 2020, where he was poached after only making 5 appearances I think by Mechelen. So City obviously saw something in the right wing back that they thought, you know, could obviously play a future in the Manchester City first team, which hasn't been the case, but he's enjoyed a lot of loan spells elsewhere all across Europe. He joined Manchester City from Mechelen and unfortunately to date hasn't made an appearance despite being contracted at the club for the past 5 seasons. If we're looking at the 5 seasons, he's obviously not gone completely footballless. He spent 5 seasons across the whole of Europe playing in a lot of different countries, gaining some really valuable experience. At still 24 years old, I'm just going to reel off the clubs and the countries that he's played in, and I'm sure a lot of you will be shocked by not only just the countries he's played in, but the calibre of teams that he's been at. In those 5 years, he's enjoyed loan spells at Mechelen in Belgium. He went back to them in the 2021 season, Troyes in France, Marseille in France, Luton Town over in England in the Premier League, Benfica in Portugal and Werder Bremen over in Germany. For a 24-year-old that had never played a first team game for Manchester City, that is quite an impressive CV. Plenty of experience across all different leagues, across the world you could say. As we know, the quality and sort of the style of football across all different leagues in Europe is completely different, so for him to get a taste of what football is like in all of those different countries at 24 years old, I think he'll be looking back on this possibly when he ends his career and think how lucky he was to have the opportunity to play multiple different games in multiple different leagues. But having said that, you know, he's played in the Champions League, we'll get talking about that. He's played multiple games in Ligue 1, the top league in France, the Bundesliga over in Germany and the Premier League for Luton. But despite all of this, he's yet to make a first team appearance for Manchester City in a professional game. I've just talked on his Champions League experience. Along the way in his short career to date, he's made 6 Champions League appearances, and of course, like I've just highlighted, 24 Premier League appearances in the 23-24 season in Luton Town's historical Premier League campaign, where again I think he had a number of really good performances. Of course, I remember him for his assist against Liverpool, bombing it down the right hand side, you know, put it into the box for Tahith Chong to obviously give them a historical lead. I don't think they ended up winning the game, but to have that experience in the Premier League and of course in the Champions League, I think he played last season for Benfica, I think I'm right in saying, against Bayern Munich in that knockout game. And obviously the quality he's built up as a player playing against some really good opposition is only going to be a bonus and bring that to the Wrexham team. And if we're looking as well in the competitive leagues that he's played at all across Europe, he's made 137 appearances, so as a 24-year-old he's definitely not lacking in experience, and most players of his age definitely do lack experience, I think, especially just in one league. But he's got loads of experience across a whole host of different leagues, and I think he's obviously enjoying a career that most players would dream of. And having said this, you know, his experience over in Ligue 1, over in the Bundesliga, this will be Kaboré's first season playing in the EFL Championship, and what a place to do it in Wrexham Football Club. So hopefully he can bring all that experience, all the IQ and the knowledge that he's gained from playing against the opposition down that left hand side, of course, primarily playing down that right hand side as a right wing back, as a right back. He'll know the different sort of techniques and how wingers play all across Europe. If we're looking as well, of course, I touched upon him being a Burkina Faso international. He's a regular on the international stage for them, where he's got 34 caps and is still a regular today. So what can we expect from Issa Kaboré in this Wrexham team? Why have Phil Parkinson and the team at Wrexham looked at this and thought, we need another right wing back, and why have Wrexham seen him on the market and thought, we're going to go in for him and we believe he can be our starting right wing back this season in the Championship. Looking at Kaboré, it doesn't take a genius to understand he's a very attacking minded wing back who's not afraid to take on his man. He's a very pacey player. He loves to take on and beat his man on multiple different occasions, and like I said, his pace is one of his main attributes to his game, and we've seen him use it so many times down that right hand side. He's a very confident player. He likes taking on his man, getting that cross into the box. So all I can say is expect to see, when Issa Kaboré is playing in this Wrexham team, him to be on the ball, constantly looking for it, beating his man. I think there's a highlight reel on YouTube that someone uploaded this morning just of him and his game style and his game plan over the past couple of years, getting the ball on the right hand side, beating his man, producing that bit of trickery. And yeah, I think he just does look a really confident and attacking minded player, which we know in this Wrexham setup Phil Parkinson loves his wing-backs to be attacking-minded, putting those crosses into the box, having a good output in terms of, the goals scored and the assist record. So I think bringing Kaboré into this Wrexham setup makes a lot of sense because he loves that cross, he loves cutting inside as well, and I'm sure there'll be multiple different occasions where Kaboré could possibly trick the defence into cutting inside and having that shot on goal. I think what Phil Parkinson does look at in his right wing-backs and his left wing-backs is chance creation. We've seen a lot of solid right-backs and left-backs playing across English football. Their job isn't really to create chances, but Phil Parkinson loves that attacking-minded wing-back, and Issa Kaboré is definitely going to create a lot of chances in this Wrexham setup, and I'm sure if he can produce those quality crosses into the box, Kiefer Moore especially is going to have an even more of a field day than he already is having this season. If we're looking as well statistics-wise for Issa Kaboré, in the Premier League season that he did play for Luton Town, he played 24 appearances across the span of the 23-24 season, and his statistics are as follows: 66 crosses, 5 big chances created, 19 dribbles and 2 assists. So playing in a Luton Town team that I think everyone expected them to go down from the Premier League. Of course, they made that massive jump up to the Premier League following that promotion in the playoff final to the Premier League, and I think everyone expected them to go down due to not the lack of funding but the ability to attract players that I don't think other clubs did have in the Premier League at the time. And those stats, I think, say a lot about a player that is very attacking minded and a player that can produce those numbers going forward, and a player that will hopefully bring those numbers over to this Wrexham team. Because if you look at him producing those numbers, I think the Premier League's at a point where it's very strong, and it's been the strongest it's been for the past couple of years. So producing those numbers against some high quality and some of the best players in the world, if he can get that into the Championship where it's a bit lower quality, then I think he's going to be a real key asset for us. Yeah, and as well, we can talk about him being attacking minded. Phil Parkinson is obviously bringing him in because he's a defender. Right wing back is more of a defensive role. He is a very strong defensive player, and like I said, I've watched his highlight reel. I think there's a 10-minute one on YouTube. We can expect to see him be a very tough player down that right hand side. Very tough to beat. He'll stand his own. He's a very strong player. He's tackling as well, putting a couple of really good tackles, when coming to one-on-one against different players. And I think his ability to obviously shut down the winger in a 1v1 situation, again, is one of his main attributes. And if we're looking at Luton Town in the Premier League, he won 117 duels, 102 ball recoveries and 28 tackles. So he's going to be a key asset going forward and tracking back for us. And I think, again, all I can say is this is a late signing that I don't think a lot of us expected, but one, as time goes on, that I think we'll all look back and think, what a late signing this was. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what Issa Kaboré can bring to this Wrexham team, because again, it's out of the blue. Parky obviously thought and obviously knew in that right wing back spot that we needed further depth and further competition and quality, obviously, to what Ryan Barnett and Ryan Longman do currently offer in this Wrexham team. And given Issa Kabor's CV, of course, playing in the highest leagues in Europe, I don't think Parky was ever going to turn down the opportunity to bring a player of his quality, and a player of his quality especially going forward. And his final product is really good. If he can continue to put those crosses into the box, Kiefer Moore, of course, I think he's got 4 goals already this season. He is just going to continue to have a field day, and if we can provide him the best service, then Wrexham are going to get a 10-goal plus striker out of Kiefer Moore this season. And I think as well, the wing-backs are going to have a massive role to play for us this season. If we can go into possibly the next game with Libby Kakachi and possibly Issa Kaboré at right wing-back, I think we've done a really good job in recruiting in those areas. And adding Kaboré to the mix, especially in this squad where there's a lot of competition in a lot of different areas, I think is only going to be a added bonus for us. And like Phil Parkinson, and like we know as the fans, no player's position is ever guaranteed in this Wrexham team. We've seen it on so many different occasions. So bringing him into the mix, it's further competition. It means Barnett and Longman are going to have to be on their A game every single week. They're going to have to train well. I'm sure they already do. You know, Kabor's going to come in and sort of bring that unease to them. So they're going to put 110% in, like the whole squad does. And it's a signing I'm really, really happy with. I think as well that does obviously raise questions as to who will start for Wrexham and what does kind of the future look like for these right wing backs. Because you're looking at Ryan Barnett last season, the first half of the League One campaign, I think he's got double digits for assists. What does that mean for him? Because we've seen Ryan Longman be favoured down that right hand side over the past couple of weeks. Are we really going to see Ryan Barnett suddenly become our third choice right wing back? It would just be ridiculous, and I would just like to highlight as well how strong that would be in terms of our right hand side, and I think that does highlight how strong our right flank would be and how strongly we've recruited over the past sort of 6-7 months or so, bringing Longman in the January transfer window and now bringing Kabor in obviously in the summer transfer window. So what does the future hold for Barnett? What does the future hold for Longman? Of course, one of those is going to have to be third choice and miss out in this squad, possibly week in, week out. So again, the questions will be raised. What does their future hold at Wrexham? If we're going to let either of those go, I think it'd be a massive mistake, and obviously it will have to happen in the January transfer window. But again, it's competition, it's a good problem to have, and I'm sure Kabor comes into this Wrexham setup and will immediately add quality and competition to those players. So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button as well if you haven't already. It's deadline day in the transfer window. There's been loads of different news with outgoings. We've seen George Evans possibly go to Burton Albion, Tom O'Connor to Peterborough United, Aaron James, the youngster, possibly making the massive trek up to Scotland for Falkirk. There is a lot going on. We've seen Zach Viner, the defender from Bristol City, apparently be close to moving to Wrexham. We've put 3 bids officially in for him, but Bristol City have said under no circumstances are they letting him go this transfer window, which sort of points towards it's their indication that unless you double your fee, you're not getting Zach Viner. I think as well it is obviously clear that Viner is interested in the project at Wrexham, and I think personal terms for him between the player and Wrexham have been agreed, but it's just the fee that Bristol City want, and if Wrexham are willing to pay that, I'm sure they will, because he looks a good defender, and if he does sign, you'll know all about him on the channel. So yeah, until the next video, take care guys, keep an eye out because there's going to be plenty of content coming over the next 48 hours or so with the latest transfer news. Until then, take care guys, up the Championship Reds.